court. They plan evil, execute it, and tell the victim to go to court because the court they know is cash and carry. And what pains me most, the preachers tell the victim to accept it as the will of God. So many contradictions. My head spin. I wish I had a place I can call home. I am looking for a
Powerful. When I was scrambling through my phone and one day and I saw this.
They plan evil.
When I saw this write-up, transformation project, returning businesses back home to build a new nation in Eastern Nigeria, a new city tag now new, that's called New Jerusalem City in Obago. I said, what does this mean? Eastern Nigeria Stakeholders Conference is coming soon. That someone is calling for a relocation of businesses everywhere. Back to Nigeria, back to Alibo. I will occasionally make an error, Bikoba, I don't know. Nibo, everywhere, globally, are victims. They're being killed. China, South Africa, even River State, Lagos. So many places where Ndibo have suddenly become the victims. Professor Aka, my dear brother Black, IG, before we bring in a guest, a very special guest from Alibo, to talk to us about what is going on. What is this problem in these places? I'd like Professor Aka to beg my brother, Mazi, Professor, Barrister. Talk to me, talk to us. I will be speaking like Professor Aka is speaking, will speak. Ngalibo. So those people that understand Igbo, you will understand us. This is why Professor Aka is here. Because some of us, well, let's just say that we are Ngribos. Professor Aka, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Everywhere that you, in this world, where you are, I greet you. I am Chief Obidike. Professor Aka, talk to us. What is going on?
Professor Chief Obidike, moderator.
Good morning, good afternoon.
From all over the world, Honorable Vincent Ubani, and Ekenegi. Ekenemunu for the opportunity to Nunyeremka. Kukamunu share ideas because when him na no before. Ihe na bank atayabu otu a ga-esi return of businesses.
Professor Aka cover screen or the possible I don't want to cover screen. Or something. That is good. That's better.
Okay, I get it. Okay. Okay. Ihe na-akpa nkata ya n'ehihie anyị okwu anyị na-ekwu topic anyị bụ otu anyị ga-esi return businesses back to the southeast ka anyị nwee ike build a new southeast, a new Jerusalem. Ọ dị mma na ihe anyị na-akpara nkata ya today ọ dịghị accidental na all businesses because businesses bụ ihe ndị Igbo na-emeta ọfụma. Anyị na-emeta business. So ọ bụrụ na nwere ebe anyị ga-ebido echem na ọ ga-awụ otu anyị ga-esi nwee ike return all businesses to ala Igbo. A number of things anyị na-ekwu okwu ya here ụmụnne m. Nke mbụ ihe ndị bekee na-akpọ charity begins at home. a na-eshi n'ụlọ mara mma pụba ezi. Ọ bụrụ na ya amaghị mma n'ụlọ ya agaghị ama mma n'ezi. So ọ bụ ihe ha ji dị mkpa anyị na-ewela Igbo businesses home. The second reason anyị ga-eji na-eme ihe anyị na-eme ọ ji dị mkpa na anyị na-eme meeting abụ a sị na ọ gakwara na nke mbụ a na-ekwu okwu ya akụrụ ụlọ ya ekwu onye nwe ya. Enweghị otu ị ga-esi ama onye nwe akụ unless i welara ya ụlọ. So ya bụ ihe o ji dị mkpa na property anyị ga-ebido ruo ụlọ so that ọ garụzi ụlọ anyị amara aha lekwa onye nwe ọ bụ chief Obidike nwe nke a, ọ bụ aka nwe nke a, ọ bụ chief Ubani, Honorable Ubani nwe nke a. So ọ dị mkpa na akụ ga-erurịrị ụlọ. That's another reason anyị ga-eji ewela businesses ụlọ. Ya nke atọ connectkwara na nke abụọ anyị kwuru bụ charity beginning at home and akụ iru ụlọ. But that kedu ka anyị ga-esi na-edozi obodo ndị ọzọ hapụzie nke anyị ụmụnne m, especially ọ bụ na anyị na-edozi obodo ndị ọzọ na-edozi na-arụ ụlọ na-eme businesses ebe ndị ọzọ ha na-akpọkwa anyị iyi na-discriminate against us ịhụ na ọ dabaghị. So anyị na-abụ ka anyị menyere ndị mmadụ, ha na-abụ ka ha bipụ anyị anya. Anyị agaghị na-ewezi abuses aha na-aga n'ihu. O nwere nke ọzọ, the fourth reason connected to this three anyị kwuru ekwu here bụ onye a jụrụ ajụ anaghị ajụ onwe ya. Unu n'anya kemgbe ọgụ a ihe a ha kpọrọ ọgụ, the story anyị ji bido this meeting, ọ bụghị ọgụ, ọ bụ genocidal war. Onweghị ihe anyị mere anụsa anyị ọgụ. Since esi nụcha ọgụ ahụ onweghị any federal presence ọbụla nọ n'ala Igbo. So ọ bụrụ na anyị jee develop oke ndị ọzọ anyị ahapụba anyị, ọ bụ double jeopardy ka anyị na-eme onwe anyị. Kezi ka anyị ga-esi eme onwe anyị ihe dị otu ha? Onye a jụrụ ajụ ọ na-ajụkwa n'onwe. So ihe anyị ga-ebu n'echiche unu n'anya the level of discrimination e nwere against us. Even ekwensu ọ na-ewe ekwensu iwe na ndị mmadụ emeka na ihe ekwensu na onwe ya apụghị ime. Even ndị kpọrọ ndị Igbo asị dịka Obasanjo na-agụ na newspaper today online, ọ sị na ihe a na-eme ndị Igbo na ọ dịghịkwanụ mma. Ọ kpọrọ ya Igbo phobia. Na ndị Igbo bụ ndị nwere akara, ndị ama ama bụ ọrụ ha rụzie ọfụma. Kezikwanụ ka esi eme ndị Igbo ihe dị otu a? So even ekwensu na onwe ya na-aba mba Igbo haters si na o zuola. Ọkwụ na ahụla unu si na unu mere na emere election. The two major political parties si na ha achọghị anyị. Onye si ala Igbo ara ọnụọ unu ahụ na otu o si ga. A fifth one chọrọ ime here. O nwere oge anyị na-agba anyị mee anyị nwee excuses. Ndị be anyị na-eme invest ebe ezi ha sị na ha na-enweta high returns on their investment. Na ha ruo ụlọ na Abuja within 10 years ha recover ego niile. Ha ruo na Lagos within 10 years. Kedu ụmụnne m aghọtaghị m ụdị argument dị otu a. Burukwanụ na echiche na ọ bụ na-discriminate against you. Ụlọ ahụ ịrụcha ya kpọọ ya ọkụ, nwa obere aghara, nwa obere ihe ma kpọọ ya ọkụ. Ọkwa na onye dị ndụ na-enwe ike inweta high returns na investment ebe ọzọ. Na mkpokọta aga m asị na ihe anyị ga-eme, let's strategize ụmụnne m. Kedu ihe anyị ga-eme? Because ihe niile m mere ugbu a wa recount unu problems. Olee ihe anyị ga-eme ka I solve all this problem? I need to relax back to Igbo land.
We will stop it.
We need to go back to the drawing board.
Of course.
Agaluo m ije bụ onye alọ ha alọ. A bad journey bụ na ị nwụrụ in the process in a journey. Ọ bụrụ na ị dị ndụ, you can always start afresh all over again.
It's doable.
And enwe a second opportunity.
Of course.
Ugbu a ka anyị nwere that second opportunity. Onye niile o doola anyị anya na ndị anaghị anụ ntị. Na-reject ala ndị Igbo. Onye rejected 53 years ka isi na-arịọ ndị ọzọ, na-arịọ ha nwe onye na-ege ntị. Lọtazianụ n'ụlọ gị bido develop wene ụmụnne m. Dubai ahụ anyị si anyị na-aga na Taiwan. Ọ bụrụ na ndị Asia nwere ike ime ụdị ihe dị otu, unu che na ndị Igbo dị very capable agaghị enwe ike ime ụdị ihe dị otu a n'ala nke ha. Ọngọ ha m for now. Ndewo.
Ha ikwuo n'eziokwu, my brother. Ndewo. Daalụ. Lalo, professor of professors. Dalo, ikwu n'eziokwu. Biko ka o nwere onye ọzọ nchọrọ ịkpọ. Ka onye agbazie na anyị from his own. Batalukwu n'anya. Be careful, oh. This is power. Power na-abịa your way. Ezigbo power na-abịa your way, oh. Because ndị dị ka nke a, this onye ọzọ ga-akpọ no. My dear brother Black, I call upon you to answer that question. Even in ndị Igbo, even in n'ụwa, what can we do about it?
Chief.
Go ahead, my brother.
I'm also some problem with my so to the extent that you can't hear any more technical problem under my phone. Nevertheless,
Yeah, we have audio issue from Dr. Black. And while he's fixing that, Dr. Onyise, you should be ready. Dr. Black, if you can hear us, please. Your audio is not coming.
I have no idea where.
Now, we're gonna mute you. Go to.
Let me just use the clock.
Let's talk to Dr. Onyise and mute Professor Black until his audio is set. Dr. Onyise, unmute yourself.
I'm on meeting.
Dr. Onyise, go ahead.
Okay, I welcome everybody here. Igbo kwenu.
Yeah.
Onye nọ here na ahụhụ onye Igbo. Igbo kwenu. Igbo kwenu. Kwezuonu. Now, I'm doctor, I'm a reverend also, I'm an ordained priest. And according to the book of Ecclesiastes, there's always time for everything. And that time for the Igbos to know that they have to go home. Now and no other time. I'm not going to recount the problem. Onye kwuru okwu before me, Professor Gato Chala Hanile. Onye ajụrụ ajụ anaghị ajụ onwe. Ụlọ ọbara na-ebe a recount one problems, the evidence. Him and I,
Okay, thank you.
Now, the question, okay, hi game. It's been long a time, Lagos, who are very richer than me. If richness is measured by material things like our people, they are richer than me. But I don't measure wealth by material things. The only reason why the Boji no Lagos. Name apply Ebonje because now watch. Now no crack about it's yielding to part of the COVID plan of Fulani and Britain to close all the seaports in the southeast and ensure by enshrining in their Fulanized document they call constitution that you cannot open up any seaport without the federal approval. And who is at the approval and approves it in Fulani? Therefore, many don't know why they're in Lagos. That's why. Because you are the marketers, you are the traders, you are the exporters and importers. So you have to stay close. And not to talk about the toll of carrying your goods. The trek will back to east and back. There's no road for you to even carry it. They have 1 million checking points to extort you of the profit. And you translate all that expenses to the customer and make the goods almost impossible for people in Southeast to buy. because all those goods are paid more, are bought more higher price in the Southeast than the people who are trading as Southeasterners. I just want to give you some more insight to what people have not sat down to think about. And there are more. Having said that, solution is what we need to talk about this meeting and all other meetings. We know the problem. Number one, even our group government, I know, talking I do. So what action, pragmatism. Move all markets like I've read, Honorable Innocent Tidere. Move the markets to those locations ASAP. You don't need billions to do it. Start moving. Start moving ASAP.
ASAP.
Like food is in him. How donate your land? Ala when he aluno rono or quanti fulani our Jara Bonan Ausar anyway. The lands bought over there. Let the people donate their lands. Those areas were mentioned. Aroma immediately from Bacha. Roma and Kainla. I just watched the video one in Yoruba this morning. He made me shed tears. My hope. Us, the Igbos are the oxygen. The Igbos are the water for the rest of Nigeria. Me who be the video forward it. One in Yoruba. I think the Ibola Okahawa. And that is true.
That is very
So
true.
let us and more could say anywhere I say about Negra who on Igbo. Anywhere nigga honey go no wow where there's no oxygen. So there's oxygen there.
Thank you, my brother.
Because only the shike can move markets ASAP. Anyone on a diaspora, I have work all together like we are now and start moving it. Now, cause of we are not bound by that Fulanized government they call constitution anymore.
Thank you, Dr.
And one seaport ASAP.
Thank you, Dr. Onyise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's take this program and this discussion to a higher level. I received a text, and I looked at this and I said, my goodness, who is sending this text? Honorable Vincent Anthony Ubani. And Ubani was making a statement and trying to explain his vision. The vision that he has for Ndibo. Newen Sobu everywhere. Ndibo anenyen Sobu. My goodness. This brother have began something. The Igbo Traders Union. He is the Global Director General, Honorable Vincent Anthony Ubani. That's the chief of BDK Gunane Ekunu. Namdo Zonu I got very soon. So Biko, my brother, what I know in your own words, explain this vision that you have. Tell us, talk to us. That's why we call this show, Let's Talk About It. Good morning, my brother. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Ndewonu. Humble Honorable Vincent Anthony Ubani. I'm Onyeisi Alangwa North Local Government Area of Abia State.
Welcome, my brother. Welcome.
The governorship candidate under the president in Abia State. And as well, I'm the presidential aspirant in the 2023 presidential election under the National Movement. And I will.
we want him to switch to audio so he can save the power. You know, the Ibrahim we give video now. The same time, yeah, the clear. Can you wear one I can come out with the audio? Una huni here. And chocolate here more than that. Honorable, go ahead and use your audio.
Yes, can I go ahead?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, because the network is somehow bad. Permit me, come so in a very clean language in case of for me, so that whatever point I'm giving out here will be properly documented.
Go ahead, my brother.
Okay. I am the National Rescue Movement presidential aspirant under the 2023 presidential aspirant under the platform of the NRM, National Rescue Movement political party. The reasons of all this attempt of contesting election, Mbo Maka, we have a mutual understanding with President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019 that we should wait for 2023 for the Nigerian youth to take over leadership, for a new era of younger generation to take over government in Nigeria. This mutual understanding led to the reason they appointed I and some other youth heads in this country as the members of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. We all worked with our resources. President Muhammadu Buhari officially told us to use our resources to work, and he promised to work with us after his victory for us to work in line to achieve a new Nigeria that we are targeting ahead of 2023 that he said we should wait for. Some of us sold houses to achieve this, his second tenure victory. At the end of the day, we were all left with nothing but betrayal from the government. Considering the fact of the situation of things on the ground, and most especially with what is happening in my own territories, where I came from, the Eastern Nigeria, considering all the attacks, the killings of young people, the agitation for freedom because of marginalization of the Igbos, I was having no other option but to say that either the federal government agree for a new era of a younger generation, or we have no option but to put this country uncontrollable and ungovernable situation, because we can no longer continue with the same problems, whereby since President Muhammadu Buhari took over government to this point, which is 8 years, the same situation of things has been in the same situation. And in fact, it's getting out of hand. Recently, they just conducted the election. Nigerian young people in hunger for a new era took all our resources to project His Excellency Peter Obi as our mandate, bearing in mind that they said the electoral laws that was signed into law will be a favorable one for people's votes to count. And also, we all know what happens in the just concluded election, that with all the massive votes that we gave to Peter Obi, the election was totally rigged by the National Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, and the APC party. With these actions from the party and from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, it has given me no other option but to understand that there is a total plans by the Nigerian government to deny the Igbos any opportunity to sit as the head of this country. This includes threatening all Igbos' lives outside the Eastern Nigeria, including in the Eastern Nigeria, because I see no reason why Igbos, who are the ones powering over 75% of development in all the parts of the country are always been on the path of attacked. Either they attack them by killing them or they burn down their businesses. And this thing has continuously, it's a continuous process. And that the federal government has done nothing to address this. We understood very well that the insecurity in Nigeria has risen so highly that everybody's life is now in danger. We can no longer, our lives are no longer secured. Now, the Igbos has been threatened directly because I was in Lagos for 6 months. I came back to Abia State 15th of December. The Igbos were receiving direct threats that they would not only seize their markets, that they would chase the Igbos away from Lagos. And the body language of things happening now is hitting on that direction. Any bona fide Yoruba man has one or hold one thing in mind to chase away the Igbos from their land, because they understood that the Igbos has developed their land. So they want to claim all this development for themselves. To us, I think it's now time for the Igbos to say, let's go back home to develop our land, where we will know that nobody will come to burn down our businesses, nor kill us that easily in our land. We personally, because of my own understanding and my own decision reached, we are not saying we are breaking the country Nigeria, but we are saying that we are coming back home to develop our land to a standard of a nation.
And save our
We will
lives.
get to a point that we will get to the sea, and we will break that sea to the promised land when we will understood that the unity of Nigeria can no longer continue. At that point in time, that is when we can break this country. But for now, since the division or the agitation for Biafra has led to many bloodshed, we don't want our land to continue remaining a bloodshed territory. We the Igbos and the Eastern Nigeria entirely, to think back and bring back our businesses and come together to team together to develop our land.
Honorable.
We are ready to work with, yes, we are ready to work with
Honorable.
all government, the
I
state
would
government,
like to, Honorable,
including the federal government in areas. We are ready to work with the federal and state government up to the local government to ensure that we achieve the purpose of our mission, which is to return back all our businesses from all parts of the Western and the Eastern, the Northern Nigeria back to the Eastern Nigeria. And I swear from our people in diaspora to also return, bring down some of their business, because in the world they said, Abakata aka nyoma lobo fufu. So when our people from the northern and the western part of Nigeria return back their business, and our people from all over part of the global communities return back their also business down to the Igbo nation, at the end of the day, we will be having nothing less than a small Dubai or a small London in the Eastern Nigeria territories. We believe that if we are committed to this goal, within a space of 10 to 15 years, that the eastern part of Nigeria will be the engine room of the whole West, of the whole African nation. There will be no other nation that will look like the eastern part of Nigeria. And thank God, we have a master plans on how we will achieve these goals, which includes to build a new city that we have already tagged as a new Jerusalem city in God's own state. This city will be a connectivity city that will cut across all the eastern Nigeria states up to linking the western and northern Nigerian states. Likewise, we have agreed that some of these markets will be located in different states. So at this junction, we will not conclude on the map of where these markets will be located, because we know some will be in Onitsha, while some will go to Aba, some will go to Ebonyi State, some will go to Enugu State, some will go to Imo State, and other states, including Delta State, etc., etc. Once we are able to achieve the preparation to locate our businesses in different states within the Eastern Nigeria, we will be able to now rule out the map to achieve the result. So for this to happen, we have concluded to hold a first gathering conference where we will be constituting a committees that will come with a master plan document properly designed to achieve this result. And this document will be working with the state government to achieve them. And as well, in the area that we will need the attention of the federal government, we will be engaging the federal government in our capacity to ensure that we carry them along in the process of developing our land. I want to make a point clear. I did not see any reason for anybody or any government to say that they cannot do the water off in the Eastern Nigeria. Maybe they will say they don't have the money to do so, but I don't see anybody stopping us not to do so. So if we have investors who are ready to drill our water to connect the international world so that we can have our brothers' goods coming directly into our territories, I don't see anybody stopping us. If anybody tries to stop us, it means they have an agenda, and we will raise against that agenda, because the era of oppressing us is coming to an end. The moment the Igbo start returning their goods to the Eastern Nigeria, it is the beginning and the end of the oppressing of the Igbos and the Easterners from any part of the world. The moment our Igbos start returning their businesses back home, it ends the era of oppressors. And I believe we are not doing so to harm the western or the northern part of Nigeria. Rather, we are doing so to enable us develop our own territories, just like we have developed Lagos and we have developed Abuja. We need something of that nature in our own territories. And we see that with connectivity of the returning of our business back home, that and our brothers in diasporas bringing down their business and investing in our lands, we will be having a new Jerusalem city, a new Washington, D.C. in our land that will serve as our own capital as well. And we have a proposed places that we designed to hold and achieve these new cities. We will be liaising with the committees that will be set up, which the conference commences on the 7th of April, 2023, and ends on the 8th of April, 2023. This conference will give us room to harmonize things, to set up mechanisms and committees for different, there will be more than 35 committees. Each committees will be taking care of different areas. These committees will work and we harmonize things with the state government to achieve this result. And I want to also say that with the outcome of the election, as God may want it, God's own state, Abia, my own state, after the whole labor, God has given the Labour Party, where we have labored for, to Abia State. And His Excellency, the incoming governor, the governor-elect, Dr. Alex Otti, is a man we believe that he is going to be ready to work with us in all capacity, just to see that we develop Abia State to a standard where he will take the glory at the end of the day. Because it will be in a history that under his watch, the Nigerians in all over part of the world has come together to build a new city in God's own state, in Abia State. So I am appealing to everybody on the need to put hands together to ensure that we have every hot brains out there who will be attending this conference, so that the expertise will all come together at this conference in Umuahia in Abia State to speak and to discuss on a mechanism to make sure that we achieve the goal for a new city in God's own state in the Eastern Nigerian territory. Thank you very much. And God bless the organizers of this.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you. You have really set a tone and a plan, and we see the plan because you mentioned it in many ways. We will now ask, I'm trying my best to see if we can minimize the amount of time. Let me ask anyone that is on the panel, if anybody have a question to ask the Honorable, please ask the Honorable your question and your comments. You have only 2 minutes according to the technicians and all. You guys know how it works. So ask your question, but try to minimize it to 2 minutes to the Honorable Vincent Anthony Ubani. Who wants to start? Let me go to somebody I have not, Doc have spoken. My brother Black, who I was looking for to speak before. Please, Dr. Black.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you, Honorable Obani. We are so delighted to have you in our midst. As you know, 2 minutes, so I'm not going to take long. I'm caught tire short. Almost something may peak while you were making your presentation. And before I say that, let me also go back to remind us to the fact that the present Ajaokuta steel industry was supposed to be sited in Onitsha. Onitsha was the perfect site for that industry. Before we know it, it was taken to Ajaokuta where it is today. The first Hyundai plant, the Korea planner, to site before they started going elsewhere, coming to America and elsewhere, was supposed to be sited in Alibo. And before we know it, they killed it. One night, Maziaka just started by telling everybody, no, anything on Alibo. This is deliberate. We know their game. So now, coming to the observation may observe from you, is that you will be engaging the state as well as federal government. State, of course, because states are our own, on the by our own. But federal government, I don't know, the same federal government, 53 years to today, now starving from every corner. I don't know how we're going to approach that. So the last thing, Cholime, because there were many hands in the air, Bikono, as he had Dimpa, Mokeneme, they are no be. So my suggestion, Unekukwala too much. Don't give details. Besides the state government, don't go to nobody else unless investors go Kwandibo from across the globe. Yeah. Because limit your details. Take it away from the federal government because there's no way they can help us. Because they're one.
Honorable Vincent, if you want to answer his position, but
yes,
let's. Oh, you want to give us a brief answer? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yes, let me react to what he said. Because we are still under the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is our duty that if, in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if there is a project or there is an issue that we need to do that required the federal government notice or awareness, it is our responsibility to engage the federal government using the committee that is set out for that purpose, because a committee will be set out to engaging the federal government. This committee, it will be working like in line with Ohaneze Ndibo and all of that, even the state government, just to ensure that what we are doing does not crash with the federal government. So our duty is to brief and report to the federal government. But if you can remember very well, I also made it very clear that the federal government will not stop us not to do anything that will be in the best interest of our territory. The federal government can only resist not to fund. But if we have what it takes to do what we want to do, I don't see the federal government stopping us not to put things in place for the benefit of the Eastern Nigeria territory.
Understood. Understood. Very well said, my brother.
Thank you very much.
There is another young man. I call him young man because he's really quite younger than me. But he has a characteristic of a lion, and I hope he's still on the line, has a question to ask. My brother IG, do you have a question to ask our honorable guest? IG, are you on the line? IG is not on the
Yes.
line.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, I was muted. That's why.
Please make it 2 minutes. You know how we are. 2 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And how will his respond? And because you want him to respond to your question.
Okay.
Budu Budu.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
My brother, Ubani, the honorable. I'll go by that.
Yeah, thank you very much. You're welcome.
I commend your pen, the pen that you have taken to undertake this kind of giant stride, right? Yeah, to embark on this mission. Yes. Emma, when I said,
I said that they control body now. Tell her. No, no talk. It's there for your body now. It's there for my show, Abi. Don't talk too much.
Where's the noise coming from?
Everything said.
There's a disruption there. If you can mute yourself, that'll be fine. Also to one you teluku gamu ihe omere onwe. Ndị Igbo ọsọ esule ime otela agbawara ndị Igbo a na-ekwuye a na-ataka ya ataka ha na-efishi bakabaka na ọsọ esule ebe ka anyị gbaga ọdụlai ele bagidi and and anyị ma asị na ihe na-eme ihe abụọ dat na ihe ndị Naijiria ga-agbaju anyị n'anya ndị Yoruba na ndị Hausa ụmụnne ha ụna agadi nwaanyị jụọ ọgụ otele ga-eri ala ya azụ ọzọ amaghị aka ntị ị ga-amagwụrụ onye na-amaghị aka ntị ahụ continue slapping you and all that. That is what is there. But my question enwere other things to say, but because of time limit, question enwere my brother akwimote ndị Biden lend the governors, lend the ministers, lend the senators, enye ha ihe mere ndị ibe ha mee n'ala Igbo anyị ha ga-anọ na ewurele ihe ihe anọkwa dị a na-emegbu anyị ma ndị nọ na Senate ma ndị nọ na House of Representatives ma ndị nọ ebe anọ ma ndị big men ma ndị bu ego ha gbakwa nkịtị na-ele anya ka ndị akara ọka na-enyo ndị dị hypnotize and inye onye Igbo ihe ị ga-ele anya ọ gbaghị ya akwa ihe anyị na-eme ihe abụrụ Ponzi scheme kpọkọ ya ka ndị mmadụ na ndị mmadụ ewere n'obi tinye ịmago ihe mere aga m akpọ certain things ahụ akpọkọ ndị mmadụ na-ahụ egbe ndị mmadụ mapụta chie na ndị na-edu anyị ezigbo mmadụ the next before you know it the project ada akwa ọbụrụ ya.
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
Ajụọla m enyere m time limit so ya jiri akwa ihe abụrụ Ponzi scheme.
Thank you. Thank you. Your time limit is up. let me call upon Festus Anyanwu, because you have heard the statements by the Honorable Vincent Anthony Oba on the movement of businesses to the east. What would be your question, Festus Anyanwu, please? God bless you.
Ndewonu ụmụnne m, ndewonu. Aha m bụ Faustinus Anyanwu. I'm onye Imo State, Owerri, to be precise. Let me biko may change okwu to okwu bekee. Ụmụnne m na-ewekwaliwe biko.
So
Mazi Obani, I was the one that called you from Abuja. I don't know if you can see my video. I'm the one that called you from Abuja some days ago. I also connected my brother and friend, Nomaya, who spoke with you. I believe you remember. Now, this project is good. I'm happy about it. And we all know that the seaport is an exclusive list of the federal government, which means that a state cannot build a seaport. And if a state builds a seaport, the federal government will claim it. And you know what to do when they claim it, they will render it redundant. Now, building a seaport is not a problem for me. Two, I would like you in a situation where because that Jerusalem, Washington, whatever, we are building our own. Let it be our project. Let us not use someone. Washington is not today. Jerusalem is not today. This is our own starting today. Let's design our own and create our own. Now, I understood what the other man said about having sabotage in our midst as regards the politicians. And you made mention of incoming Governor Uti. I agree with you. He's a man I know people have worked with. I know of a Yoruba man who worked with him in Lagos and said, if Governor Uti wins, he's coming to Abia State to buy a hectare of land for his business because he knows who he is. Now, as I speak with you right now, Biko, let us start small. The major thing is for us to get that seaport. There's no country in the world that developed without a seaport. No. And there's no developed country in the world that has one functional seaport. No. They have several seaports. Nigeria has one, which is sabotaging. We have to play the game, which means getting Governor Uti involved. When Governor Uti is involved, you see other governors, especially these new governors coming in, want to get involved. Soludo will be interested. Now, if we are going to scatter this market and businesses all around our labor, please let there be a connectivity of rail in the plan, a railway linking them. That is another aspect. Adding to it, our plan should be our plan. We should not be like Lagos that is copying whatever they are copying from London, BRT, without designing their own. We design our own. Whichever committee we are going to create should design our own, not designing something that looks like somebody else. So, thank you very much.
Anything that you have as a plan, my brother, I think you guys should hold it and bring it to when the summit takes place. Bring it to the table. You don't want to bring out too much information, as Professor Aka have quite loosely have said. Don't bring out too much information, because this is a movement, how to develop our nation, build a new city. Call it what you want. But let me, I'm so sorry, Marika,
Yes.
Peter, let me, please, hold on. Let me bring in Henry Obuno Ogunne. Henry Ogunne, are you there on the line?
Yeah, Henry Ogunne.
Okay.
Good evening from.
Good evening. Good evening. This is Chief Obidike. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. I am Dr. Henry Ogunne.
Doctor.
Yeah. Edimna Grand Duchy, Luxembourg, the only Grand Duchy none of world at the moment.
You heard what our honorable guests have said about
Yes.
this transference of businesses to the East. What say you? What is your thought on this movement?
Okay, thank you very much. While there is a need to transfer a business in our labor, or we have guy make in a hurry, or that is strategic. That's what they say. What makes a village a good village? A school, a hospital, and a church. So, even Alibo now, those things that makes economic development, a seaport, airports, with integrated cargo and passenger airports, and electricity. Now, while I really did all these things because of, not only because of cultural condition in Nigeria, but because there's a need to develop Alibo. I can say, why not we have a plan well drawn up by professionals. Professionals are also on the graph. When I was here, when experience they are quite professional, a mechanic when experience are professional. And draw your plan. What goes in what part of Igbo land? Then one thing from Nigerian Senate deliberation last 2 years or last year is that they removed the electricity from the exclusive list. So we can even start by electricity, uninterrupted electricity, Nalibo. Work on that. And Nalibo, I see wealth. Because one thing the Scandinavians did very well is to have this waste to energy. They are using their waste to generate electricity, and we produce more household waste. We can start actually using the waste in Onitsha or where they are producing electricity. Then let those that can lobby the federal government, because as the previous speaker said, here must seaport on exclusive list. Let the governors lobby and have the waterways dredged so that I went airport. And when the airports in Alibo already, they can be improved into a cargo airport. Okay. With that, I would everything I need. But at the end, let the plan not only be to take businesses back to Alibo, but to attract people also who will buy from the business and to develop an economic ecosystem where all these things will flourish. But at the end, we need to go home.
We need to go home, Dr. Henry Ogunne.
And supposing we're high for Nelia.
Okay, because my brother, because I'm glad you're not operating on me. So because there's one question that we'd like to ask, and we want our honorable guest to answer it. There's a summit coming in Abia. Will you be there? Dr. Ongo Kanaju.
Me?
Yes, sir.
No, I would have loved to be if I'm in Nigeria. I'm somewhere in the middle of Europe at the moment. However, these things can be thrown online. Or even there are online tools now where actually they can bring all these ideas and people will contribute into developing them into one developmental document and strategy document.
Doctor, we have the plan, online and virtual, but within the channel. This one here is too big for us to do that. So, but anyway, I hear your answer. Maduka.
If I may add, sir, please, if I may ask, there are people who are actually the face of a project, and there are people on the background who helps actually draw up things.
Well, let the Igbo Traders Union and Dr. Ubani, let them be the ones to make that decision of virtual and people who are not there. Can they come into it? Including Obasanjo, including anybody else. But anyway, I hear you, and I really appreciate your answer. But there's a summit coming in Abia, and many people are expected to be here. That is going to be one of the biggest summits that we have ever seen. This is tremendous undertaking But Biko,
Yes,
you
sir.
and Peter, I have really, you will forgive me. But you've heard the question. You've heard the answer from the Honorable Vincent Anthony Ubani. What say you about this movement of businesses to Igbo land? Go ahead, my brother.
Ndewo sir, aha nwo Prince Maduka Nkuku, I'm onye Ubakala na Umuahia.
Okay.
Yes, and my father fought in the Biafran War, and I had a first-hand experience. So this is nostalgic for me. And what I do say though is that I don't, like one of the speakers said, we cannot get up and uproot our businesses in Abuja or Lagos in a hurry. It's going to be a systematic and strategic thing.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two is that we need a cohesive regional plan that every state in the region buys into. That way, there's no duplicity in project, and then we can know how to put different infrastructure in the place that it will best benefit our region. So it has to be a coordinated. So there has to be a coordinated plan. But and those of you who are older than us here know that there were master plans in the days of Okpara and those days. So we have to research and find out how we can find those master plans and then improve on them with what we now know and technology. Another thing that I think also is that the narrative of the experience of the Igbos has to be systematically created by us. The reason why we are hated is because we are the best.
We are the best.
We must not transfer to our children a defeatist mentality. That is not the problem here. The problem here, those of you who are old enough know that the reason why they killed the Igbo officers in 1966 was because we were predominant in every sphere of national leadership in Nigeria.
Understood.
So it is important that this narrative is continuously put forward there so that we don't take a defeatist attitude. Secondly, and fourthly, is that we have to learn from people who have gone through our experience in the world. And like somebody said here, the public. The Israelis, they said never again after they had the experience in under Hitler, and never again included advanced preemptive identification of the threats, neutralize it. Vicious retaliation for any behavior that is our interest. So these are things that but committee security. So I'm not going to go any further than this. I'm going to use my time, and I appreciate the opportunity to be in this forum. And I think the committees will do better than this. Thank you so much, sir.
You're very well welcome, my brother. I got one on Igbo. No doubt about it. Peter, you know where? Peter, there's so many people. Peter, there will.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
This is Chief
I'm Okute.
Okute. Because the sincerity and the severity of this atrocities that now happens in Yoruba land. As if we're not of any value after we have built this whole city. You heard what Ubani have proposed. This proposal,
yes, I have.
This proposal is magnificent and in some people's views, and it has some narratives. What is your narrative on this proposal?
Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello, can you hear me all?
I can hear you, my brother.
Okay, I'm Peter Ogbonna Chukwemeka.
Ogbonna.
Yes, sir.
And that's how. Hey, that name sounds familiar.
Obodo from Imo State, where?
Okay, Imo State. Okay, now go ahead.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Okay. Honorable Ubani, that was a very fantastic idea, plan, and all that. Permit me to speak in a language everybody will flow with. Well, I have just a bit of concern. And my concern is this. I think we need to actually understand ourselves. That is one. Then we need to also go back to the grassroots. I think the grassroots plays a major impact in the development of the economy and in Igbo land as a whole. Going by what I've seen, I think our grassroots development is very poor. When we begin to develop every part, nooks and crannies of the Igbo land, things will begin to take shape. Then we can now start looking at the bigger picture. Yes, it's a fantastic idea to start moving our stuff all the way from other parts of the country. Yes, fine, but not suddenly. Rome is not built in a day. But we can take advantage of some of the policies there at the moment, like making sure that we have good power supply, which, thank God, federal government now has made a policy about autonomy in power supply, generating power. I think we can take a clue from that, make sure that each of these states, we have a good power supply, electricity. Once there is a good electricity generating scheme in each of these states, I can assure you things will begin to take shape. Investors can come in to say they want to do one or two things with any person in the Igbo land. Then we can now transition into co-opting the local government and the state government. Seaport, on the other hand, is a bigger thing, which you have to liaise with. Yes, Seaport is something bigger than us at the moment. But just like what one of the speakers have said, the existing infrastructures like the airports, let's make it functional. Let's have a cargo part of the airports where developed, where things can move in by air. Yes, sir.
In on Imo State, Onyenka on Abia State, or the possible give it to this one in Imo State. Ibang now Abia State because I'm a man in many sense.
Yeah.
This grand idea won't come out with it. On a Abia State. I got what you kebido me na Imo State.
Yeah, it's only possible. And I appreciate the conference that is coming up where everybody will come together.
Here. Yes. With the Let's Talk About It program.
Yes.
We are, you know.
Yes.
Abia. It's nothing too big for us to handle.
Of course.
The other issue here, what in a hurry. Anyone on our labicade in hurry to come home.
Of course.
63 years Nigeria. Jerry. Ole hurry or down a kukuna. Onye na-egbe igbere kwesịrị ịga ije ya ka na-egbe igbere for 63 years. You know.
No. I understand, sir. But what I'm saying is that in as much as we are trying to do this, is something that has to be systematic. Because we know who we are dealing with. We know that we are dealing with, let me use the word haters. So you need to be strategic about your movement. Why I said not in a hurry, we know that it's going to be in a hurry, but we need to build where we are going before we start doing this movement.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? That is my...
I heard you not for meeting on the 7th and 8th of next month.
Which is a fantastic, and I'm planning to be there.
So I will choose,
Very
so
good.
in week, one piece like Amana, if you only ya ebe money. So the money Abia State, yeah, Mototes are for Leonel, then again with la Imo State.
Imo State.
The next person, aka no n'elu m hụrụ here bụ
no problem.
Chief aka ọwa aka gị tọwa ụkwụ nọ n'elu biko ọ dị ka ọwa aka gị kwuo n'ihe ị ga-ekwu n'okwu ike duru. O nwekwara ha ọzọ m chọrọ anyị kwuo nga mba Igbo, ndị Abịa, ndị Imo ndị Ebonyi, ndị ala ile mba Igbo, amakwana m ihe unu njide ekwusị hele mmadụ ile nga ịnụcha unu aga asụwa bekee. Ka anyị mix English Igbo, ọ dịghị signal anyị ndị inye ndị Japan ka anyị kwuo ha anyị ga-ekwuru olu ka anyị ekwuo okewo anyị adịghị were ịma ma ịnọ ndanga. Chifu Aka.
Yeah, ụmụnne m dewo no.
Go ahead.
Ekelele m unu. Ekelele m honorable maka okwu ya. Ihe m na-achọ ikwu here now, okwu Igbo ka m na-asụ. Amaghị m bekee. O mebere chiekwu onye ụta atala. Effort niile m na-eme ka m mụta bekee okwe ha m. Tụọ English Igbo ka m na-eji asụ. Ihe m na-ekwu here now bụ mgbe m na-egede honorable onwe ihe na-edoghị m anya ma agwụ na eziokwu. Anyị kwugara onwe anyị. Idea ọ na-eme ogbu ụzọ gakwuje Buhari. Ya na Buhari a na-akpa nkata. Esi ya garuo ala Igbo. Na-ekwu okwu politics. Mgbe ọ kpọga anyị ihe eche m na onye na-ekwu ihe a bụ onye union na-eme organize ndị Igbo. Hapụ gọọmenti. Politicians anyị efeluola anyị n'ala Igbo. Ugbu ọ na-ekwu okwu ya, ama m ihe ọ ga-enwe ike navigate ndị agwụ gọọmenti. The 5 Igbo states ugbu 2 APC, 1 PDP, nke ọzọ Abia kasị onye Labour wing, nke ọzọ APGA. Ha niile anọghị together. Onweghị otu ọbụla ị ga-esi kpọkọ ndị Igbo otu anyị nọ na Zoom a onye ọbụla ege ihe a na-ekwu. Unu na-asị ka anyị na-enwe patience, jee consult Buhari, consult ndị Fulani before anyị amụrụ ihe anyị ga-eme n'ala Igbo. Initially, I'm excited. Adịghịzi m now. Ka m gwu n'eziokwu. Ma a ga-enwe ike nweta permission from ndị Fulani, nweta from Buhari, ndị niile ha etiri ndị Igbo. Anyị ele ma anyị nwere ihe anyị ga-eme n'ala Igbo. Ma ọ nọ na exclusive list, ma ọ nọ na concurrent list. So onwe ihe anyị ga-eme unless anyị nwetara authority from ndị kpọrọ anyị asị. And nwanne anyị Ubani wụ politician. So anyị amaghị ebe o si abịa. Uche ma onye mega organized business. Ọrụ ọnụga presidential aspirant. Nke. I'm confused ma agwụ n'eziokwu. Let me tell you where we are now. Ụmụ Israel nọ 40 years na wilderness. Anyị anọ na 53. Na na-asị anyị patience ka anyị na-arịọ ndị Fulani. A na-eme ọnọ one Nigeria. Ihe ọbụla anyị ga-eme anyị ga-follow one Nigeria. Kpachara n'anya ụmụnne m, ọ gwụchala ihe m chọrọ ikwu.
Ikwuru ọfụma, but after you know, you're really shaking us up with that comment, because you've now shifted us into a different arena. There are calls for me to ask Honorable Vincent Anthony Ubani to respond. My dear brother, can you respond to that comment by Professor Aka? Hello, my dear brother, Honorable. No, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Honorable, go ahead.
Okay, I'm actually having a breakdown on the conversation when Professor Aka was actually speaking. So I couldn't get his question direct if there was a direct question, but I am understanding that on that something has to do with going in after permission from the presidency or something of that nature, because the thing the network is breaking up and breaking down.
My dear brother, he was very critical.
For me to throw more light.
He was very honorable. He was very critical. Honorable, he was very critical. This is Chief Obidike. He was very critical. And for that reason, since you did not hear him, since you know, Dr. Aka, get back on the line and make your statement again. I think it's critical.
Yeah, enwere doubts. I didn't clear.
I didn't get.
Okay, nwanne m dewo. Okwena na ihe m na-ekwu. before iwelata business n'ala Igbo, ijenata General Muhammadu Buhari Authority, APC, Iran on onwegi, then unabata n'ala Igbo.
No.
And I'm how different this project is from Gorgeous or Kalung many years ago. Check and kucha one them because Amamoti gets navigate to politics. APC now control 2 states na Igbo. PDP no na cause. Labour just will win one now. Yaboti. Okay. APGA no na Anambra. Kirki gets navigate 5 different political parties. All the political parties they represented. Give one on our own as a presidential candidate. Organize businesses behind the excited about. Kineku as a politician. You started with a political statement in Buhari Gwaragi. And I'm very disappointed with that. And you know, in the wilderness. And you know, 53 years. Israel no 40 years. It's why you know some more. No, when did it? I don't mean when did you? Okay. These are some of my concerns. I was very excited. At the end of your speech, excitement, man, one on I am Charakeman.
Okay, we'll put that. Okay, he'll bring it back. Go ahead, Honorable.
Okay, I think. Okay. Yes, let me react now to. But it seems he misunderstood me. The misunderstanding about that Anye reached goal resolved. The Igbo Traders Union also has reached the final result that they are returning their businesses. And we were encourage Ndibo and above non-Ndibo, Eastern Nigerians, Igbo Batasi, their investment back to home. Kabia invest here at home. And by doing so, any permission from any government to do so. Because the investment is your investment. Here I need them. He encourage, he sensitize this our people. The urgent need, even halala Igbo, la Eastern Nigeria, and have it to mind that there is a direct threat, la Lagos State, to the Igbos, most especially. There is a direct threat that even if Tinubu Mbaya Lochichi as president, that the Agis is some part of the Igbos investment markets like Alaba International, like a trade fair. These places are capable of being retrieved out from the hands of the Igbos. So the Igbos are on fire. They are like sitting on a time bomb, like Lagos State. So at this point, the only thing the Igbo need is structures that will put things in place. Nginye had the ability to start moving out down to the Eastern Nigeria, which is why I need people that have something to offer, that can make up a formidable document and planning working documents that will help to ensure that the Igbos will know a roadmap to follow in bringing back their investment back home. And just as clear as it is, we don't even have time. We have less, in fact, before the swearing in of the Tinubu's government, if peradventure we did not retrieve the mandate of Peter Obi, who won the election, Maya Mefu retrieved that mandate before he is swearing in at June 12th. We must have concluded final plan on places that our brothers will be relocating their business to. And that's why an emergency need is set up that committees is required. Now, I am involved in this because of the role as the global head of the whole P2B support group who are fighting for the new Nigeria to bring P2B on board, who has a connectivity network of stakeholders worldwide and in the 774 local government. Now, that office that I connect and that I control is what I'm trying to use in making sure that the mechanisms are put in place. And since I have the ideologies of templates to use to acquire the achievement of returning the Igbos investment back home, I am ready to produce those templates, a guide, in making sure that between now and to the end of this year, over more than 50% of Igbos has already started relocated back their investment down to this Eastern Nigeria. Now, the area Mbasara engaging the government is area that has to do with the place that they are putting a no-go area that will create problem. Because we are to develop our land at all costs. Like the seaport, according to what you have said, it is on their list, a no-go area for the federal government. In that areas is the areas that we will use through other means to engage the federal government to still achieve it. In the area of holding down Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the prison, when they have still continuously, now a new government is about to come. We think it is time to call a spade and get our brothers out from that prison so that let's move ahead. We moving ahead is to build a new nation for the Eastern Nigerian territories. So I need any permission from the federal government or from the state government to get our land developed. What we need to put them in the light. For example, require from them. We will be seeing those things from them because it is the federal government and state government right to give us what we require to develop our land. So if they now said peradventure that in nature they don't have it, they can only say they don't have it, but they cannot stop us not to proceed if we have what it takes to do it. For example, the federal road, we may want to do something and we have what it takes to do it. What we need is to brief the federal government that we are doing this and we will do it. We are not asking, we will not be waiting for their money, but we will be implementing actions that will develop our land. My point, because I don't need any permission from federal government or from any state government to develop our land, as long as we have what it takes. Because it is when you expect them to come and do it by themselves, that is when there will be delay and there will be setbacks.
Brother Honorable Ubani, very simple in my own mind. There are mayhem in Lagos State, in other places as well. The idea is very simple. Whether you take one part, one small part, go to Igbo, one at a time. And there's an old saying by the Chinese, you can move a mountain one pebble at a time, from one location to another location. It's done. So I understand what you've said, and it makes sense to me. To me, although I'm just sitting here moderating as best I can, but my dear brother, it makes absolute sense. And I want to know if it makes sense to the next person before I conclude with Honorable Vincent. Before I conclude with you, I want to hear from Kenneth Asiegu, because it has been decided that you, Kenneth, my own brother's name, by the way, should be next to speak on this proposal by Honorable Vincent Ubani. Kenneth, are you there?
I'm here.
My dear brother,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Udo dịrị nnụ dịkwara n'anya nwande ndị be anyị sị na a na-eme mmadụ jem ije pụta nke ụzọ gbara ịtọ ọ jụrụ ajụjụ put inside this program with the understanding that Ayabidi Kubia Biafra, Ayabidi Kuba Hotel Sapula Nigeria, the Yashori Kubu, Hotel say Buta Aha, the by Boliolo, on him. But now the conversation they just outside the perimeter, Nisha lobby hand me. Gangwan Uzoku. Igbo land were a covenant land. We are not apologetic to anybody. In your mind, Sianaka. Or would they destroy Igbo land? Bear that in mind. In the truth today, he had the create your wine. Because I'm going to call me myself, and I. Or what anytime an Igbo man cannot do. I have 20,000 Kenyan people. Know what 20,000 when they're gonna bank. Ihe chọrọ ịgwa nnụ bụ asụdatala mberede anyị na dike ọ bụ otu ihe ese ma ọ bịagide anyị inwere any time to think but to act. Logistics na everything ha na-ekwu ihe ga-eme na ihe gụdị eme is well good, but ihe nwoke na-eme dị ala obi. Ọ ma onye kwuru okwu here so that ugbo ole ka ya eme mmadụ ihe ọmara ihe. Eche data ihe achọrọ ikwu na abụ ele ka ya esi agwa ụmụnne anyị the logistics I go in the plan to take our thing home, but you see, I will be hearing from Ali Igbo, not the too quick. I don't agree with that. One person kuna, I think I'll be the Korea. Now Chinese people say that one people at a time they raise a mountain. So can direct no coup. I'm not here for debate, but somebody to come and lecture us. I'm sorry, the honorable. I'm not trying to be, nasty or bad about it. But are you on the ruling guy, man? I hear me to the extent that I didn't want anybody to tell us that we are suffering. And a powerful in the land I want created, but of our own fault. So the most important thing now, how are we going to correct this thing? Admin support that in the Igbo delay a move over the Habutia Gufunga had them and had them no longer. But you have to store, had a idea. Japan, look at this out of Japan to Nigeria. If you want to buy a car, if you want to buy anything today, you have to go to Japan and get it. One of our brother Innocent, you see how good he's doing now. Many African countries are coming to buy a car. So can have you see that and can keep on here your blind name and no be you working there na dear lobby. Obula Koham, the one.
Faro Buno after one name Woke Kenneth. God bless. So I'm going to give our honorable guests, and I really feel sorry that there are so many questions and so many comments that were made without him having the opportunity. But he will have the opportunity to answer if we want to do this again. But quite frankly, April 7 and 8, face-to-face meeting, Abia State. April 7, 8, and I think there's 9 too. Abia State, 2023. Many of the private, simple, detailed questions can be put on the table there. So please save that date, April 7th, save the date so that whatever you're doing, if this is important to you, as it is to Manin and Runuhan today, then you should make a plan. You should make a plan. You know, Dr. Onyi said, this man is such a brilliant individual, and I really have to say something for him before I bring in the conclusion by our honorable guest. Onyi said that the first Black Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, and I'm responding to anybody who doubts the possibility of our making this kind of movement. It's not impossible. One Igbo man named Professor Kenneth Dike was the Chancellor of the University of Ibadan. The first Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos was an Igbo man, Professor Eni Njoku. there's other ones. The first Nigerian rector. The first Nigerian professor of mathematics. I like that one. Was an Igbo man named Professor Chike Obi. Listen to this. He solved the Fermat's last theorem. Because in that degree. But the man also, there was another professor named James Ezilo, professor of differential calculus. What I'm trying to point out is that there are things that Igbo have the capacity, intelligence, drive to do. And this may be one of them. And it will take all of us. I am going to close. You know, me, I'm a small boy. But let me give my own Honorable Vincent. You take it and then I'll close it. Go ahead, my brother. Okay, Honorable. Okay, Ubani, please. Go ahead, take the floor.
Let me give a closing remark then, because I know the program is coming to an end. They make the time. And they make up the time maybe to this, he attended this Zoom meeting. Is one of the beginning of the process required. You put in time to be able to discuss. You'll be able to at least know some holes and that needs to be blocked. Chineke Amala, at this point, the only way to achieve anything is to meet face to face and put in mechanism, planning committees that will be foreseeing all activities so that we can have a road map. For me, I've been able to come up with a template, but they need people that will dismantle this template and use it to create a roadmap, how we can bring in our goods back, our businesses, our markets back home. Obolanya GCK made that gathering, Lord, a successful one. Then I see the victory of returning back our businesses back home to be a successful one, even before the June 12th. I see people already coming back home before then, because I give that the mechanism of points make and matter the need a lotawa la libo. The faster, the better. The faster, the better. Just like what the last speaker, Nku. Even if it require you, if you say hey, give you basia lazy, hold on nage. No, there me wahine me clean metaze shop. Ibido from the fresh. Just come back home and come and start up your business at home. There is no road in another man's land again, because Lagos, the Yorubas has decided to take Lagos at all costs, even if it will require to damage Igbo's properties and investments, just to make sure that they frustrate Igbo. And that is the same fate that they live in the other part of the world, in Nigeria, like in the north. So when anything I know again, just bring in your investment, make it movable. For the other one, it's still there, and you see your own. When so, but business they try, but that's why, because they will again they will be targeting your business. Your business, your market is your target, and they have just one thing to do: to burn it, so that they can claim their lands. So, because can happen the loopholes that may be coming up that you may be thinking from the conversation, because I believe that my nokata face to face and give mutual understandings. That understandings, the rules, the regulations, the maps to follow. So I follow that map. I believe Ogabo is small something, because I can send the delegates to all part of the places. Meeting with a clean message, with a clean roadmap for them. organ in a document. So the best thing is that that committees. That's why I real everybody, because even up to now, we are still having setback. Because yes, I ain't joking, but there must be sacrifice. There must be sacrifice. That sacrifice is in high Nagro. Those who can sacrifice empowering the sources of setting up these committees and having what it takes again to dispatch these committees back home is very paramount. Remember, I set up committees. Committees in Gigano plan ya with a roadmap, with Allah. Send to our brothers and they not see la Lagos, but they not see other part of East Western Nigeria and Northern Nigeria. The roadmap, so that everybody get on the same picture. So I think all one after the other, we will start from that way. Behind I started now, can encourage Ndibo, can do that even back home as a matter of urgency, because take it or leave it, the Igbos is at risk now in many parts of the country outside the Eastern Nigeria. So I'm agree everybody that this program, this gathering, so that can wake baby within the committee. Oga abu one man's decision. Oga abu a group of leaders. Then according to so Jehovah Gozisha Unulile. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, my because thank you very much. It's an undertaking that was available to everybody, but he took it. And since he took it, let us see some more. We will see it. We will see it. And we're coming to a close. The only thing that I can say as a moderator, as an anchor, God bless you, my brother. God bless all of you who are here. Biko Dalono. Udodolono Nine. God bless you. This is Chief Obidike. Ndibo. Amapokuno Zoko. Ndibo Kwenu. Ndibo Kwenu. Oh, gonna kwana Ndibo na larola. Ndibo Kwezuonu. Kachifono, man, Kachifono. We will be back. We will talk again.
Oh boy.